Next is the Audit Finance and Planning Committee report.
Morning, thank you, President. I'd like to start in reverse first and talk about auxiliary services. We had a brief from Lee Clark, and for the new members of the board, if you have not been to some of the spaces, you could eat lunch off the decks down there on some of the places. They're immaculate, and some of these people have worked there for many, many years. And I encourage you, if you have time, sometime you can pass through Lexington, contact Lee and take a look at the spaces. It's a busy time of the year for the auxiliary services. This is when the old uniforms come back, and they refurbish them, get the new ones in. They went down to another military college, and they actually showed them a different method on how to put stripes and everything, because in the past it was hand labor. Took hours, just to put all Lester stripes on the uniform. So they have now found a better way to do this, and it save money and save hours. Dining services still continue to shine. They have installed several fueling stations. This is not petrol. This is liquid fueling stations around the post, so they're very popular. And around the corner, I don't know if you saw around here, Preston Hall, there's a Preston Cafe, and it's basically, put your card in there. They cannot keep that place filled with e-dunk, as we call it. So it's a great ad, and the cadets love it. We also took a brief on the facilities. Keith Jarvis talked to us. The basic thing is the barracks windows is about 50% complete. The security in barracks is almost complete. The security barriers that you've seen around the post are 99% complete. They still have some glitches. They go up. The problem is sometimes they can't go down. So they have to get the fire department in here. The fire department is just going to have to drive across the grass or anything like that. But they think it's just a minor glitch. Look at Moody Hall that's phase one of the operation. It's closed off. Probably be late summer before the demolition, and once they finish the contract. And then Nichols Engineering Building, I can say I've never been in it myself, but I've passed it many times. But that's going to start the rehab work. If you see. Also, we got a report from the VMI museum system. 60,000 visitors in the last couple of years. The peak was at 75 before COVID, and they're working hard to get that. We talked about, and it was agreed upon, the 5-year strategic plan was approved in the context, and we reaffirmed that. There's a pamphlet here as Keith gave out to everybody, so I recommend that you take a look at that. And also talking about Keith Gibson, he's rounding third, heading towards home, class of 77. So he's looking. If anybody's interested in a full-time job, talk to Keith. He may be looking for a replacement here in the next couple of years. But great job by things that don't get looked at, in the big picture. And these people behind the scenes are doing a great job. So I appreciate that. Now I'll turn over, talk about some higher important issue. Talk about FY26 and FY27 budget. The biggest concern we had, and we talked at length about it, and we have a handle on it. We started out the year with a budget fund balance of $21 million. It's projected to be down about $9 million at the end of the year. There's a long list, and I can provide it to you, of items that were put on delay to take over. We had to get to them. So Dallas and the team with the superintendent and everybody decided to tackle those issues. So the fund balance came down it's quite significantly. So it's a major attention item. Dallas and his team they've got focus on it, and we're going to try to get that balance back up. The issue that we're going to have another meeting with the finance committee sometime before Dallas leaves, so we can get a better understanding of how we close out the year. But it's a yellow light right now. It's not a red light, but we're focusing on it. For FY27, we'll talk a little bit about it. Superintendent is going to have a party on his front deck there on matriculation day when we go over 500. Janet is going to provide all the beverages. But anybody who doesn't understand the budget, the key is we get a lot from alumni agencies. There's other ways to get money, get things from the state. We've got to get the core back up above 500 every year. So that it's the key, and it's a big driver. It's about $43,000 per cadet. Not only does it fund, uniforms, all that kind of stuff would go into it, but a big part of that chunk of that 43,000 goes towards athletics. We've talked extensively about the athletic budget and how we've got to get that under control. Superintendent is going to have a strategy meeting this summer, and he's going to present back to us a athletic strategy on how we're going to tackle this. But the key is bidding cadets in Barrett. There's a sheet in the brief right now in the summary. I'm not going to go over every single note. You can read that. And Dallas went over it yesterday, talked about the budget. The biggest item that we need to address is the tuition and fees increase. And I'll just read this real quick. The proposed FY 27 operation budget totals 126 million, representing an increase of 4.4 million, 3% over the FY 26 original budget. The projected increase in the size of the core, state mandated commissioning and budget adjustment, as well as increased operating for VMI agencies, is very important. The budget includes a 3% tuition increase for Virginia and non-Virginia cadets, and an approximate 3% increase in mandatory fees. The tuition total increase will raise the tuition up to $33,974 for Virginia cadets, a 2.9% increase, and for out of state, it'll be $66,514, a 3% increase. Enrollment assumptions reflect that we will have just under 1,600 cadets for the fall of 2026, including hopefully. The goal is targeted, and they have budgeted for 480, but I hope when we come back here in September that I'm announcing that we have over 500. It's looking at about a 65% from Virginia residents, so that's good. One of the biggest budget increases that we've seen, and anybody who's in business, a fee that continues to go up and up and up, is the fees for medical. It's going to be a 13% increase for employer health insurance, and that's huge. Anybody's in the industry, if there's anything in business, knows that's a big increase. It also includes a planned use of a 1.6 million in reserve funds, including the 500,000 that we talked about for NCAA athletes, and Damon will address the issue on the budget. I recommend a motion to the board. The Board of Visitors approves the FY 27 operating budget, including a 3% increase in tuitions and 3% increase in mandatory fees for Virginia and non-Virginia residents. The committee approved this, and I recommend to the board, Mr. President, that we approve those measures and we go forward for FY 27.
So there's a motion before the board to approve the increase in tuition as spelled out by Mr. Admiral. Sorry.
Second.
There's a second. Is there any discussion? Any questions?
I just would add, I appreciate how extensive the discussion was about this in committee, and we have some serious things that have to be looked at, and the plans that are coming forward for how to deal with athletics. Like, this is just for particularly new members of the board. Like, this is top of mind for the work that the board needs to do over the next 3 to 6 months. So I really appreciate the discussion that was had in the committee.
Thank you for that. And we have a lot of responsibility here, but the financial well-being of the Virginia Military Institute is our top priority. That's right. Thank you for that.
Absolutely essential. It's a center of gravity for us. It really is. So that motion has been made, seconded. Discussion has been had. Any other discussion? Take a vote. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you very much.
That concludes my report.
Thank you very much, Terry.